G'day, it's Heath here from pickinglessons.com. In this banjo lesson, we're going to take a look at a really fun traditional tune by the name of Bill Sullivan's Polka. This is a great tune if you're new to melodic. It's fairly straightforward in the melody. We've got to play it reasonably quick, but the melodic elements to the melody are pretty easy. So it's great if you're starting out in the melodic style. We're in 2/4 time, key of A, capoed at fret 2, string 5 is spiked at fret 7 there. In a moment, we're going to take a look at part A of this tune here in this lesson, but if you head on over to pickinglessons.com, you're going to find yourself a copy of the tablature. In the tab, you've got your finger markings for both your left and your right hands there. You'll also find part 2 of this lesson where we take a look at part B and break that down to learn the melody. You also find a backing track and a play-along track there at full speed, which you can download from the website, pickinglessons.com. Okay, let's have a slow playthrough of part A to start us off, and then we'll talk about some of the techniques you need to work on as you're learning the tune. 1 and 2 and... Okay, so there's part A nice and slow. For the fingering in your left hand and your right hand, keep an eye on the tablature, it is marked there. We're going to have a look at 3 areas though to help us learn this melody, and those 3 spots firstly are the pull-off we find repeating quite a bit through the tune, and that pull-off is that 2nd fret to the open string. And we're going to use our first finger for that one, and when we pick the 2nd fret there, the first finger is going to flick that string to hear the open string after. It's really important that you don't just lift your finger off. Really try and flick through the string in either a down or an upward motion, doesn't matter. But rather than just lifting the finger off, we want to flick through the string. So firstly, there's your pull off. Secondly, the rhythm we find moving from the end of measure 1 and the end of measure 2 and the end of measure 3, this is a repeating little rhythm. We have a dotted 8th note and 16th note. So 1, 2 E and a 1. 1, 2 E and a 1. So there's a little skip on that second beat. Have a listen. 1, 2 E and a 1 and 1, 2 E and a 1 and 2 E and a 1 and 2 E and a. So a little bit of a repeating idea there, but the rhythm, that skip of a rhythm, da, da, ba, 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 ba. So that idea of repeating that rhythm there, getting used to how that dotted 8th note to the 16th note sounds. So you see the little dot there next to the 8th, and the 16th has that extra line there in the notation. Okay, third technique to work on here is the single string, and we find this in a couple of places, and we're going to work on it in the final measure. And this exercise here in the final measure, we have thumb, index, thumb. Thumb, index, thumb. So on one string, on the 3rd string, a combination of thumb and index fingers to play those notes. Thumb, index, thumb. So the single string technique is where we find multiple notes on the same string, and we can use this technique of using the thumb, then the index and the thumb, repeating to play that. So we've only got a short passage here, but worth working on if it's new to you. So these notes again, thumb, index and thumb. Thumb, index and thumb. So it's a nice exercise. Combine that into what you're working on here. Nice and straightforward, repetitive melody, some nice melodic and single string techniques we're finding in here. It's played pretty quick, but as you can see, it's a very simple melody, so that's okay. Head on over to pickinglessons.com and you will find part 2 of this lesson where we have a look at part B. You'll also find a copy of the tablature and some play along and backing tracks there in the members section of the website. pickinglessons.com, and I'll see you there.